Let's try this for a third time. I keep getting interrupted while I record, so um last week was my best week for Saturdays. This week was my worst week for Saturdays. I went 14-7. Before we get into the recap though, let's talk about the fight. Khabib versus McGregor. Possibly the most boring fight I've ever seen. It wasn't a fight. It was more of a wrestling match. Khabib wouldn't get off the ground. He kept going to the ground. One of the most boring fights I've ever seen. If you want to wrestle, go professional wrestling or something. I want to see fights. I want to see this, not two dudes laying on the ground the whole time. Would have rather slept than to have watched that. Ferguson versus Pettis. I think Ferguson's his name. That was a good fight. I enjoyed that fight. That was way more entertaining than the McGregor Khabib fight by far. Wish Pettis didn't break his hand, but he did. That happens. In an actual fight, that happens. It was just a disappointing main event because it was so boring. It was a snooze fest. So let's get into the Saturday recap. 14-7, like I said. Michigan won 42-21. West Virginia 38-22. Texas beat Oklahoma 48-45. Kind of wanted to go with Texas. They've been playing well. They've been playing better than, their first game of the year. They're back on the right track. They'll be in the top 15 definitely after this week. I knew Oklahoma was going to lose this year just because I knew they didn't have the talent to blow teams out. I didn't know when it'd be. I didn't think it'd be at home, but they lost to Texas at home. Texas was up 45-24 early, and Oklahoma came all the way back to tie, but Texas kicked a last-second field goal to win, so that's that. Alabama wins 65-31 over Arkansas. Arkansas's like 1-5 now. Don't know how they put 31 up on Bama, but whatever. Northwestern 29-19 over Michigan State. So Northwestern goes on the road, knocks off Michigan State. Texas goes on the road, knocks off Oklahoma. So that's two I've lost already. Boston College versus NC State. This game could have went either way. NC State won 28-23. Florida State versus Miami. Miami won 28-27. Don't know how they only won by one against a struggling Florida State team, but whatever. Iowa State versus Oklahoma State. Don't know where this game was played at. Iowa State won by 6. The only way I can see Iowa State winning that game is if it was played at home, but who knows. This week's been crazy for college football, so 48-42 Iowa State won. LSU versus Florida. I figured since Joe's proven himself by now, Joe Burrow, then he could beat Florida, but that wasn't the case. Florida won 27-19. And there goes LSU's undefeated season. Clemson versus Wake Forest. Clemson won 63-3. Colorado versus Arizona State. Colorado won 28-21. That was a good game. Indiana versus Ohio State. Ohio State won 49-26. Again, came out flat first half. Didn't really come out flat on offense. Defense struggled first half, but then only allowed 6 points the second half. So we're a second half team. It's looking like SMU versus UCF. UCF won 48-20. If UCF runs the table, I want them in the college football playoff. That'd be 2 years in a row they go undefeated. Not many teams can do that. I don't know if any team has ever done that, but I mean, I'm sure there has in the 90s or whatever before my time. But if they do that, they deserve a chance to at least go try and win a national title. I think they do anyways. Especially if the rest of the field's 1 loss, I mean, you just go undefeated last year, you feel like you got gypped, so why not? Put them in. Kentucky versus A&M. A&M won 20-14. Got that one wrong. I don't know. I was just figuring Kentucky might actually be good, but maybe they'll come back down to reality. Who knows? Washington versus UCLA. Washington won by 7, 31-24. Auburn versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State wins 23-9. Really, Auburn? Way to let me down. So now Mississippi State will be ranked again, sadly. Even though they probably don't deserve it. I mean, you beat a top 10 school. So it is what it is. Not LSU. SEC's like ESPN just, wanks them. Ranks them is what I said. Ranks them real high. every week. Yeah, even though they don't deserve it. Vandy versus number 2 Georgia. Georgia won 41-13. Wisconsin, number 16 versus Nebraska 41-24. Notre Dame beat Virginia Tech 45-23. That game was at Virginia Tech. Didn't really expect Notre Dame to perform the way they did, I guess, and hostile environment, but Notre Dame's a top 4 team for sure. Clemson doesn't look like a top 4 team. If any one of the, so like 1 through 6 is Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson. It was LSU, but they got beat, and Notre Dame. Clemson looks like the weakest link. I know you just beat Wake Forest by 60, but it's Wake Forest. You're in a basketball conference, and you can barely beat Syracuse. So I'd put Notre Dame at 4 and Clemson at 5. I'm sorry, I'm not high on that Clemson team. They luck by every year, and I'm sick of them getting in by luck every year. And then Utah beat Stanford 40-21, so I didn't see that one coming. I mean, they were probably playing at Utah, but I figured Stanford would bounce back. But nope, got that one wrong. Illinois beat Rutgers 38-17, and Iowa beat Minnesota 48-31. Didn't know where that one was played at either. I just picked a game there. I didn't know who to pick. So yeah, 14-7, worst week yet. There we go. This is Sunday afternoon, by the way. I don't know if I've announced it. I've recorded this 3 times, kept getting interrupted. So that's a Saturday night recap. Hopefully next week I'll do better. I don't know. See y'all.